As a Sri Lankan, I really have to thank India for all the help and support because, this is the one incident that we've been through wars, we've been through horrible times in Sri Lanka, but this has been the worst. If someone's sick, where do you get medicine from? If your car has to be, whether with you or with a driver, whatever, 4 days, 5 days in a queue for petrol. This was one situation that money didn't really buy you out of it unless you leave your country and go, and then you have dogs. It was just one of those things we had to live through, and India saw us through. So thank you to India, and thank you for allowing me to share a few thoughts. What I'll try to do is just to give you a overview of Sri Lanka and the potential in terms of today. And I'll do it as quickly as possible because I know it's getting late and all of you have better things to do than to sit here listening to me going on. So, but in order to tell you about opportunities very quickly, I think the cause of the conflict in Sri Lanka, it's not one politician, it's not one political party, it's not corruption. It is sort of what the doctor would say, lifestyle, We've been indisciplined, we've overconsumed, we've run fiscal deficits for 50 plus years, we've run trade deficits for 50 plus years, we've run up $100 billion worth of debt in a $80 billion GDP economy, 50 billion locally, 50 billion from abroad. So that is the problem. And the reality, I'm within friends, so I'm not going to sort of hold things back. IMF isn't going to solve this problem. They'll give us more loans and more debt. And really, if we are saying that the problem is a trade deficit and a fiscal deficit, then obviously we need to export more. We need more foreign direct investment, and that can come from the privatization of state-owned enterprise. So my short lecture could end there. But let me just go on very quickly about why Sri Lanka. And it's not only about cricket, right? And the most compelling answer about why Sri Lanka and why Sri Lanka today is because everything in the country is trading at least a 50% discount in dollar terms or in Indian rupee terms, right? So why is because there is a deal here, and I hate, I'm not being sort of a horrible capitalist, but things must make financial sense. So why Sri Lanka? It's a great deal. The exchange rate is really good for money to come from outside. The interest rates are running at 31, 32%, and it'll probably run at this percentage for a long time. And imagine if you bring your money into Sri Lanka, lock in for 10-year security, government bonds at 30%, and when the rupee, and these are rupee bonds, and when the rupee strengthens, you would make a lot of money. So again, why Sri Lanka? It's, and apart from the cricket team, we have a trainable workforce, we've got good infrastructure, we've got good logistics, we have geopolitics. I mean, again, to go on Ashish's point, if you need middle ground with relationships, we are sort of bang in the middle. We are friends with Pakistan, we're great friends with India, we're friends with China, we're friends with the US. So Sri Lanka could be your geopolitical UN if you need it. Free trade agreements are great. We've got a great quality of life, short distances. Again, situationally, the IMF and the whole reform structure gives you situational benefit. The port city of Colombo, it's too complicated to go on, but it's a 40-year tax holiday in an offshore city inside of Sri Lanka. So again, another opportunity. It is estimated that we have $200 to $300 billion worth of offshore oil reserves that are now beginning to be harvested, right? So again, I think we're at the cusp of resurgence, and all we need is help from our friends, i.e. India, our neighbors, and rational politicians, which sadly has been a significant stumbling block, but Okay. In terms of what areas, I think tourism and construction are very low-hanging fruit. Because of the dollar crisis, construction companies haven't been able to import raw materials. So they are stuck. Similarly, I'll finish with construction. So construction companies are stuck. If Indian construction companies want to do deals of equity for raw material, securitized on their housing stock, things like that. So construction, yes. Tourism, always a low-hanging fruit. And any tourism company with a little bit of debt would need equity support, because interest rates have gone from 12% to 35, 37%. It's untenable, So there is blood on the streets. There are good investments to be bought. The Indian government and the Sri Lankan government are talking of very close collaboration in maritime, aviation, and energy. And billions of dollars of Indian investment is already earmarked into the renewable energy sector. State-owned enterprises, again, all of this stuff, I'll share the details with Rachna, or please email me if you want more information. The last point that I would sort of, again, it's been alluded to throughout the evening, it's about geopolitics. What happens, what is the world going to be like if the American dollar is no longer global currency? What about America and China? What about China and Taiwan? What about the global recession? And it looks like this is a big global recession. And so in that context, I see peace more in terms of economic growth, because I think if there's economic sustainability and a parity of growth, then that is a platform for peace to follow. And I do think, friends, that the time is now. I mean, Sri Lanka and India are two big players in SAARC, and there is a need now, and it's not a philanthropic need. It is a need that can be financially profitable. So that is my take on investment, on opportunities in Sri Lanka. Again, thank you very much, Rachna and Phuro, for inviting me here, and it's been a pleasure talking to all of you, and I've been really enriched with listening to you.